right. Welcome to week 5 recap. I think it's week 5, right? Yeah, week 5 recap. We have some guests with us today. Let me get their proper intro music. Let us start off with none other than a past commissioner, Sitcho himself.
Yeah.
What's going on, Sitcho?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be on. Appreciate the invite, man. Happy to be on.
No problem. And we also got the myth, the man, the legend himself, Dago. I'm pretty sure it's a Star Wars reference.
Boy, lad. You got it. You got it that time. Well done. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Yeah, indeed. Let's have some fun.
So before we start off, congratulations are in order. Let me see. I have last week's up. High Man last week. Was that Bees, right? It was Bees High Man.
It was.
He had 230. He just
by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Congrats to him.
Yeah.
He was on pace for a crazy score.
He can still kiss my ass though.
Did he face you this week? Oh yeah, he did.
He did. It's all good.
Taking down the Snowman, the people's champ, the self-proclaimed. What did he have? 230 points. So High Man and the only 200-point scorer, right?
Yep, yeah, that's about right.
That's it. So, Sitch, did you win this week?
Yo, believe it or not, I did, man. My little luck streak is still going, bro. I got 2 wins, and I lost the Bees, but I got 2 wins, man. I mean, I'm finding a way to stay relevant, man. I'm finding a way to stay relevant, bro.
Dago with a low score this week.
Let me thank you for inviting me on this week after my team completely collapsed.
Oh,
appreciate that.
You know what? I had and Sitch. You know, I had sent a request with you and Dream but Dream never responded.
Well, that would have been fun too. I'm happy to be on with Sitcho. Dream would have been fun too.
Yeah, Dream didn't want to be on with me, man. He know how to roasted his ass, so he didn't be on with me.
All right. So you guys face each other, so I might as well just put that up right now. And oh God, I didn't even look at the scores. Oh man, what a bad week. Higgins left the game, right?
He did.
With an injury.
That was a gift to me.
He ran like 6 or 7 routes in the first quarter and decided his ankle wasn't ready yet. That's how I got the donut.
So, Dago, what are you going to do about Pickett? Because he gave you 25 in the bench. How are you going to play this?
Pickett?
Yeah. Are you going to start him over Mills? Are you going to play the defense thing or?
I think the Davis Mills experiment in the Dagobah system is just about over. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say it looks like I got that one dead wrong in the draft. Yeah. But I tell you what, I'm going to put my Pittsburgh Steelers bias aside and say that I'm actually encouraged by what I've seen out of Pickett so far. He went over 300 yards against the Bills, I think. Did he not?
Yep.
Yeah, 327.
Right. And in our league scoring system with that 300-yard bonus, if he can do that against the Bills, I'm actually encouraged there. So I think I've got something good going with Pickett.
So he's facing Tampa Bay next week.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks are going to be tough, but after that, I'm hoping that part of my roster becomes an asset and not a hole.
Right.
And Sitcho, your low person was Christian Kirk. With 2 points, 1 reception, 11 yards. Oh yeah, but Jackson just
I got a
mollywop.
I got an APB out on right now. I got an APB out on him. Yeah, man. He was doing well, and then all of a sudden he flopped a little bit. So I sat Metcalf. That was a bad move, but I'm a believer now. So I'm trying to get my team right. I'm trying to figure out who my starters are gonna be, so I can be relevant. I figured it out. This week is going to be my figured out week.
I want to hear what Sitcho thinks about his backfield, looking at his roster.
My backfield?
Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of questions. A lot of questions there. Could go a lot of different ways.
Don't start coming for me, Dago. Slow down, man. Slow down. Well, I like Dalvin Cook, man. I think Dalvin Cook is actually underperformed. I think he'll eventually put up some big numbers for me. He hadn't done that quite yet. He had one game where he looked like he was going to do that, but then he got injured. But Montgomery he got injured, but I kind of like him, man. I think my backfield is looking pretty decent. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a bit of a smoke and mirrors. We'll see if he can get consistent touches. I'm not completely sold on him, but Montgomery and Cook, man, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right there in the backfield.
You concerned at all with the trend in the opportunity share between Cook and Madison not necessarily going in the right direction?
No, I think that was if you look at the touches, man, I think that was just when he was injured. But he gets a lot of touches. He just hadn't broke one yet, man. I think are you trying to tell me something, Dago? You coming for me a little bit? You take a little
I'm just asking questions. That's what I do. I collect information.
Is that what you want to call it? That's one. Okay, all right. Why you got me on the damn podcast with Dago, man? Why the hell couldn't you put me on with anybody else but Dago, man? You know I don't like that dude, man. Come on, Vlad. You could have picked anybody else. Him and J Money, they can kiss my ass, but that's okay.
I need a J Money and Bank episode. That's what I need.
You need a J Money and Dago, man.
But okay, so let me go around. So Saquon, Barkley, McCaffrey, both looking good, and I did say that. I said it in the rankings. If those two could stay consistent, it's a great team.
I had Dago ranked number one because I kind of feel like Barkley, McCaffrey are going to eventually. I think they'll stay healthy, and I just felt like those two were kind of going to be horses. I mean, and Barkley so far has kind of showed up. And I think when Prescott comes back, CeeDee Lamb, and so unfortunately, I do think Dago's squad, Burrow's underperformed a little bit. I think his squad is still a force to be reckoned with. Kittle gets involved. I just think across the board. I mean, besides that Davis Mills, which I kind of feel like he'd be garbage points relevant, but you got Pickett. So believe it or not, I still think your team is a force to be reckoned with. I know you had a bad week, but we'll see how it goes.
I appreciate that, Sitcho. Yeah, I'm really encouraged by the change up in Carolina. If I got a chance to watch two of those games so far this season, and just that offense is just a dumpster fire between the play calling and Baker, who, God, maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, I just picked him up. Somebody dropped him. Who had him?
Vlad. Sorry, Vlad.
I had him. I dropped him.
Oh, you dropped him. Hey, you never know. A change in coach, a change in leadership may help somewhat.
I don't see it getting much worse. They weren't throwing the ball to start the year. They're running them between the tackles, which is not what McCaffrey is built for. I'm white knuckling it the whole time that he gets back up off the ground. He takes it inside. So, but yet he's still the number 6 on the year. So with a little bit of change in offensive scheme, I'm hoping he can be what I drafted him to be.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, I'm going to jump over to my squad. I know I had a close race. I believe it was with Crusher. I think I was winning before, and then Josh Jacobs just went off.
Well, yeah, look, man, I think your team, the reason why I had your team ranked a little lower is you got a lot of big names. I could be wrong, of course, but I think, looking at your squad, man, you got a lot of big names that could easily overperform. You could be top 2. I always feel like Jamar Chase is a big boom or bust kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Jamar Chase fan, believe it or not. I like Jefferson. Aaron Jones, I feel like it was going to get hurt by Dylan this year. And then I didn't see Goff doing what he did the first couple of weeks. So I think with just Waller, I felt like Devontae Adams was going to hurt him. So I feel like, your team is one of those kind of enigmas a little bit to me. You do 1 week, you go for 200, I wouldn't be surprised. You go for 121 or whatever you went for, I would be surprised. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm too scared to bench Chase, but Brown has been outperforming him.
You can't bench him. No,
hell, he too. I can't. So Jefferson and Chase are always going to sit there. I can see myself benching Jones for Pierce, because Pierce has been looking good, but I'm still scared of that because Jones. I picked up Jones because of the fact that Aaron he's been with Aaron Rodgers how long, and then he lost his best receiver, Aaron Rodgers, and that's why I dropped Dobson in the beginning of the year, or Dubs, because I don't know if he trusts his rookies, but I feel he trusts Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that's fair.
Vlad, I got to ask you: was your your draft, your roster build this year, was that a little bit of an emotional carryover from all the warm and fuzzy last year when you went dominant WR1, WR2?
One thing about me, I love wide receivers. I like, especially in PPR, even sometimes in non-PPR. I like going, like I do a lot of my mock drafts, and I'll go wide receiver. I'll see how many wide receivers I can go. And that's because in this league, you could start one running back. So I'm like, I like to go hero RB.
Right. Good point.
Yeah. In this league, I like to go hero RB, and I'll go wide receiver, running back, and then wide receiver, and then probably quarterback. But, it never plays out like it does. I'll leave a mock draft like, yeah, but I know how we're savages in this league. It never plays out how it is. But I was lucky to get Jamar Chase. He's not performing how I would like to, but in the fact of a draft, I liked my draft with Jefferson, Chase, Jones, and Marquise Brown. And then I think I picked up Waller in like the 7th round, which I felt was my steal.
Yeah, I think, first of all, on a side note, I feel like we do it justice not to give a shout out to Situation, man. That dude went 3-0 with some injuries, man. I feel like we got to give him a shout out to him. I mean, damn, Teddy Bridgewater went down quarter one, dude still went 3-0. So shout out to that bitch Situation for going 3.
Oh yeah, Eckler finally exploded.
I helped him with that. So you're welcome. Situation.
Okay. Yeah, he got a good game from Eckler, man. That was good stuff.
But down went Bankhead, because he did face Bank. He lost all 3, so he's 11-3. What do you have? He started Jay Williams. Brown didn't give him anything. Mike Evans gave him 12, but Travis Kelce, man, I can see why he trades for him and
that was a bizarre stat line.
Yeah.
How many yards he had for those 4 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns
like 20, 30?
25.
Then 33 points. I mean, obviously I traded to him. I was desperate. He lucked up, man, by having Garoppolo as a gem on his bench, man. I mean, I know I took some heat for that trade, but he lucked up. I mean, you gotta give kudos to him for having it. I should have drafted him. I didn't foresee an injury coming, but but having Jimmy Garoppolo on his bench, man, he kind of lucked up on that. So
I'm gonna give him more credit than that. Whether it was a Lance injury or believing all the trade hype, that eventually Jimmy would move before the deadline. I think that was just a smart draft.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna give him full credit for that one.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I liked his draft.
Yeah, and I so speaking of draft rankings, I had him 1, and still to this point in the season, I think he's actually won both of his trades, and I've got him at really a tier above everyone else, despite his week this week. That's a hard.
Slow down,
It's
Jacob.
going to be a what's that?
And it's Snowman. Slow down, man.
I know. If there's one person who doesn't need any more air blown into that ego, it's Snowman. But I speak facts and data, and it's true. His team is, I think, just pure roster talent is a tier above right now. So we got to go catch him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been looking around for trades. It's been tough for me because I feel like everybody has a decent squad. Like you'd be just taking a flyer.
You're right.
And more so just to switch it up more than anything.
You're right. That's the thing. I don't think there's any clear cut home run trades, man. But I'm sure
it's pre-buy season. I feel like this is the normal pace. Usually you get like 1 or 2 out of the gate where people try and correct their drafts. We saw that with Bees and Bank. And then you got, I think Dream had one because he's dealing with a lot of injuries. But typically the trade momentum, I think, builds through the bye weeks. And as certain teams realize they're about to fall out of playoff qualification or playoff contention. So I have faith, Vlad. I think the trade market's going to loosen up.
Yeah. Dream was the only person I said that. Okay, I think he's going to trade because of his injury woes, but then he dropped 172. Right. And whenever you drop a high score, you're feeling good about your team most of the time. Most people are blinded by that score.
Yeah, but we gotta give a little shout out. I don't like that, but I mean, damn! I mean, you lost 2 of your quarterbacks, running back Connor, and still put up 172. I mean, that's impressive. I'll give him that.
His defenses.
Yeah, defenses have been holding up. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
I am not afraid of that trade at all. I am very comfortable with looking at the rest of the season outlook with the Bills being on my roster now.
That's fair. Yeah, I get that. That looks good. But I mean, you guys are performing Dream Situation with injuries, man. That I got to give props, man. Anytime I see somebody persevering through stuff like that, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
This isn't a surprise from Dream.
Right.
And I'll go one step further and give him a little shout out that I started going metric heavy in fantasy football I don't know, about 5 years ago. I went from just spending about 5 minutes a week on it to actually applying skills I have to the game, as Dale alluded to a little bit. So I got all this data now, and I'll give Dream a shout. Over the last 5 years, he is setting the standard for year after year consistency. Not titles, obviously, he needs that one, but just putting a winning playoff qualifying team on the board, his numbers are as good as anyone's. I'd go so far to say as he's the new J Money. J Money's dropped the tier.
Whoa. Ooh, that was I mean, look, I give some credit to every year he's a beast, but over J Money, that's
I'm saying for the first generation of Darwin, nobody could argue that outside of Banks titles, in terms of just win-loss, nobody was close to J Money. He was playing chess, rest of us, eating our checkers. And that has shifted a little bit. And I would say the new standard for consistency over the last 4 or 5 years has got to be Dream.
You heard it here first,
people. Wow. Okay. All right. I don't know that I concur on that, Dega. But
I see where he's coming from.
You don't have to, because I was gone 2
or 3 years.
But I can produce the numbers, Sitcho.
Yeah, I know, but I was gone for 2 or 3 years, so I don't know what happened. But while I was there, I mean, look, I always feel like, with the GOAT conversations, you got Crusher and Bank. They can both kiss my ass, for the record. Make sure you don't edit that. They can both kiss my ass. But I think that you got those two with titles. And Dago, I don't know, man. I feel like, with your titles and with your consistency, you kind of up there too. I think the eye test has always been J Money for me, because I just feel like, man, dude even has some bad luck, but man, like it's like Rodgers and Brady. Brady's got.
So let me hit you with just a number here, Sitcho. So I got since 2018. Right. And first of all, I'll just say I don't rank myself. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's meaningful. So I exclude myself from all that. But winning percentage since 2018, Dream is running the highest of current active members in the league, 58%. J Money is still up there, top tier at 56%. But Dream's running above him year after year, last 4 or 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right. 4 or 5 years, though. That was the key. I mean, we got this league's been around. Yeah,
that's why I said the modern generation of Darwin, since you and Bank and Bees came back. That's kind of like I feel like I like this wave where we've got the old school guys back and the league's getting back into form.
Fair enough. Like I said, Dream's a strong player, man. Like I think of the OGs, I mean, like all of y'all. I mean, really, if we're being honest, I mean, between Crusher, Bank, J Money, Dream, y'all are like the beast. I mean, I'm like the Eli Manning of the league. You put me in the playoffs, I can go on a run. I can go on a run. You put me in the playoffs, but like, if I get in there, I got to get in. And so even Vlad, all jokes aside, your squads are year in and year out since you've been in the league has been pretty decent.
Yeah, I just got to learn to set my spots when drafting with quarterbacks. I've always devalued quarterbacks in this 2 quarterback league, thinking, anybody could throw up the points. And then I go heavy on wide receiver and a 1 running back. It's just always been that way. So I 1 year maybe next year I'm going to switch it up and go for a high value quarterback. And it's just that last year, what's his name?
Last year you had Burrow, man.
Yeah, but Burrow was what? That was his second year last year? Was that his second year? Yeah. So
after the knee injury.
So yeah, it was So it was kind of iffy. We didn't know really what was going to happen. So that's why I was able to pick him up. But you would never see me pick up a Mahomes or what's his name, Josh Allen, because I just think it's so much value if I just have nice.
I'll tell you what, guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say your strategy last year had me rethinking my approach, because your draft last year, I would say, was the most dominant I've seen in Darwin, to where I don't know if you made any trades or even spent your fab last year. You took your drafted roster almost and went wire to wire at the top and won the title. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that in Darwin.
Yeah, I don't think I made any trades. and my core team stayed.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. I think it's the best draft I've ever seen in the league.
Now, slow down, man. Slow down. But yeah, it was a good draft.
Sitcho, you feeling a little self-conscious, and I'm complimenting
everybody else,
not you.
A lot of haterade over here, bro. I'm putting some haterade in my damn drink, man. I just, I told you I was drinking some Baileys, man, and I gotta throw some haterade in there. I don't know about.
I'll throw you a bone. Since you came back in the league since 2018, your win percentage is right up there, tucked next to J Money and Dream. I've got you like third.
You think? I always loved you, man. You a good dude.
See,
man. You a good dude.
It switches up so quickly. Okay. While we're talking about good teams, I like Killer Bee's team. It's one of those, especially about the quarterbacks, Mahomes and Allen, what is that? Chubb, Cooper, Mahomes. I like his team. I did rank him a little low.
I agree.
But who did he trade for? He traded for Mahomes, and
he grabbed Mahomes.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts though. He would have been better off with Jalen Hurts though.
He would have. He gave up Hurts and Waddle. That's the part that hurt.
Would have been better off actually.
Yeah, Bank won that one.
Yeah, Bank did one. I mean, we caught a lot of heat. See, that's what happens when people, people jump to conclusions on these trades, man. And like you gotta really pace yourself a little bit on these trades, because some of these trades seem lopsided from the naked eye, but when you really sit with what people are doing and what their strategy is, and in the long run, like there's a problem. I still think I wouldn't have done it. I'll be honest with you. If I was Bank, I don't think I would have given up Mahomes. But if you really look at it, man, it was actually a smart trade, man. I mean, he got like Waddle, even though he didn't perform well last week and Tua went down and all that. But, you got Waddle, you got Jalen Hurts, and you got Schultz, who's been hurt too. I mean, he's got Mahomes, and I don't know who else
he got Kelsey too. He has won both of his big trades.
Okay, slow down, man. He had that trade with me, man. I can't coach.
I'm sorry, man.
He did.
The numbers don't lie. Yeah, but you were leveraged. That's not your fault. You were leveraged. He just objectively he was positioned to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. Objectively, he won that trade. I just needed to do it. I got to stay relevant,
right.
Man.
I agree.
But I think that you're right, man. Fair enough, man. I think that Killer Bees, to your point, Commish. I think his squad. He's quarterback heavy. And then he's got Chubb and Cooper, who I don't love having both on the same team. But when you got Mahomes and Allen, I mean, that's kind of a hard, duo to go up against. The rest of his team is kind of like left, less to be desired. But, when you got those two.
He's got that floor. I've got him number 2 overall right now behind Bank.
I mean, he's got 64 from Josh Allen and 44 from Bank. I mean, that's 100 and pretty much 10 points from 2 quarterbacks. Yep. I mean, like, start off like that. I mean, it's hard
That's what we said.
Yep.
We said that would happen.
Yeah.
You would drop those points.
Yep.
So question. So Diego, I'm guessing you have your own rankings in the beginning of the year.
I do. So I have a my favorite part of fantasy, the other than like the talk and just getting to stay in touch with old friends. My favorite part is obviously the analytical side of it. That appeals to me. And so the highest concentration of that you get in fantasy football is the draft. So I've built over the years, I've built a pretty sophisticated draft tool. And what it does is as the draft's going on, it's actually spitting out the teams. And at the end of the draft, I've got rankings, like average projected scoring for starters for all your teams. And so, yeah, I'm automatically generating draft rankings as we're live going through our draft.
Wow.
So are you doing this before the draft? Do you make your own rankings?
Yeah. So I have all players ranked and statted out for like forecasted points and then average draft position before the draft. And then I've got it built into this tool that allows me to, with each pick, it updates, it's a dynamic thing. So somebody comes off the board and it restacks and shovels everyone based on who came off the board. And that was an improvement I made a couple of years ago when I think maybe 2 years ago when Bees took fucking Mac Jones in like round 2. I said, I remember that. Bees is a fucking wild card. I love him to death, but man, going just straight chalk on your predictions and draft order, bees will throw a wrench in that every year. So I had to adjust my tool.
And still be relevant, by the way, and still
right,
be good.
Yeah. Oh, it'd still be good. And so I made a change to my draft tool specifically because of bees, so it could adjust to crazy picks, in early rounds and kind of restack and calculate people.
So how do you feel the tool's been working for you?
You
made it to it was me and you in the championship, right?
Yeah. So I don't talk about my own stats and performance, but since I built the tool and started taking a quant approach, I haven't missed the playoffs yet. Got a title, got a second place finish. So I think the data is saying that there's something there that I can keep working on.
And you lost to me on that kneel down. I remember that one year. that kneel down.
Still, I think that's still my favorite play in the history of Darwin. I think it was Trout. I think it was Trout who made the joke about getting in on his knees or something like that.
Yeah.
Made the joke about you, Sitcho. So.
But there you go, man. I mean, I know you don't do that. I mean, truthfully though, I mean, like I think in the GOAT conversation, man, I look, with those titles and your consistency, I think between you, Bank, and Crusher, I kind of, look, at the end of the day, I can't believe I'm on record saying this stuff, but, because normally I'll just say sit you and just call it a day and keep it moving, tell you all my ass. But I do think, though, the three of y'all, I think that's where the conversation lies. And then Jay Money, the eye test. And I guess you can even still, I wouldn't say dream with the GOAT, but I think he's up there in terms of consistency. So it's just, it's fun, man. Like all this stuff is fun, man. It's good. Like I said before, it'd be good to see Trout get in there. I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit, to be honest with you. I mean, because I feel like he's always finished the ball. This is one of those years I feel like he's got a chance to really.
I got Trout at 3 right now.
Do you really?
I like Trout's squad. I do. I like his squad a lot. I think this could be, I think we've said this before, and somehow he's managed to screw it up in past years. So hopefully it doesn't happen. But
I like that.
I really like Trout's squad. I got him at 3 right now. But I like the fact that you went there and you went GOAT. Let's address the elephant in the room. Have a conversation.
Yeah, he got that. I think Andrews was a big trade for him. I wasn't a huge fan because he got all those bucks on his team, Brady, Fournette, and Godwin. But it seems that we're working out so far, and I like that Andrews trade. I mean, I can't remember who he gave up. I think it was Wentz. I think he had Wentz on his bench. But Andrews, I mean, I think that will make his team. If Rodgers can find a way to be more fantasy relevant for the rest of the year, I think he gets there. I mean, I think he makes me look like a fool, and I think he gets to the playoffs, and I hope that's the case. I mean, it'd be cool to see Trout in there, man. It really would. Shout out to Trout.
I agree.
It's been so long, man. It'd be cool to see him get in the playoffs.
So here's my GOAT take. Bank was the original. I don't think there's any denying that. Generation 1 of Darwin is Bank. You can't take that away from him. But his up until this year, I think, when right before he left, his performance had faded, and last year wasn't consistent with what he's done in the past. So he's got to prove himself this year, which he's doing, obviously. But he's the original. I'm gonna currently, if I had to pick one person, I'm gonna go Crusher, just because of the recency bias. He's been better lately. He's got his 2 titles. He's a contender every year. So I'm currently gonna put the crown on Crusher's head. Now that said, Dream and Jay Money, even though they got 0, Crusher and Bank got 2 each. Either one of them get a single title, and they are right there in the conversation, even with only 1 chip.
Mm-hmm. I think Jay Money. I dream to put him in the GOAT conversation is tough. I mean, I like Dream. I mean, I like to hate on him because hell. By the way,
of course.
As a footnote, just FYI, I did play Dream and Jay Money last week. My only 2 games, a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, and I did beat both of them. I want to make that clear. I did beat both of them. My former Duke college roommates, I whooped both of their asses. They can kiss my ass. But at the same time, I will say though that Dream had a good team. I think I've underrated his team over the years. But Jay Money has just been. You're forgetting like the dominance he's had over. Like so many years with points in regular season. I mean, there was nobody doing that. I mean,
I agree.
That's difficult.
I agree. He was the most dominant regular season player or non-title holding player, and more dominant than we've ever seen.
Right.
But
right.
If we're talking about who is trending towards,
that's
more
fair.
likely trending towards a title in the last 4 or 5 years, Dream is setting the standard for consistency.
That's fair. Hell of a trader too, man. His trades, man.
Hell of a trader.
He finds a way.
He survives. The embodiment of Darwin. He survives.
Yep. Fair enough.
Well, where we at? Hold on, we're at like 35 minutes, guys. I tried to keep it, but this was interesting.
We need to go for an hour, man. You got Dago and Sitcho in here.
I know, I can't.
I got a couple other topics here, Vlad.
Oh no.
I got axes to grind.
No, I can have you back on. But I have a rule when I make podcasts. It's got to be like under 30 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough.
So this has been fun. Thank you guys for joining me this week. This has been the Week 5 recap. Any last words?
I'll say some last words before Dago goes, man. Hey, Commissioner, good job, man. You're doing a great job, man. Seriously, man. I've been commissioner for a while. I know it can be hard. You do it flawlessly, man. You do it in a lot of different ways, man. You brought innovation to the league. I think you keep us afloat. I was gone for a few years, but I heard you kept it afloat too during those years. And we couldn't be in better hands, man. And I know we don't say it enough, man. A lot of work that goes into it behind the scenes, man. I just want to say great job. You can still kiss my ass. Vladdy Goodell can still kiss my ass, though. But Commish is doing a great job. Seriously, man. All jokes aside, man. We applaud you.
Thank you, Sitcho. Thank you.
Yep.
I agree with all that. I'm going to give you a slightly different bump. I want to give a specific bump for this idea, this podcast. But this is pretty cool. I mean, Darwin's been around for a while. We've got a lot of the same traditions. I do love the old floating written recaps. Maybe we do that at some point in the future to mix it up again. But doing this podcast is a really cool idea. So
thank you guys for joining us. This has been the Week 5 recap. This is your Commish, and see you next week. Commish out.